Wouldn't it be great if we could bring together our S3 bucket with our WordPress media library and organize them in such a way that you can just point and click, drag and drop and structure everything together to make your life so much easier. So whether you are managing your own website or websites for other people, or you have an online course or a program, or maybe you just want to use bigger images and you have limitations in your media library, you're not able to put MP4 videos or MP3 audios or podcasts there, we can blow through all those limitations implementing this system. Now, when it comes to the media library, I've made a couple of notes here that might be good to know with the limitations that we currently have. So that might be the size, for instance, with your upload limit. You know, you have a certain size that you can upload into your media library. You also have a hosting limit. So with your web hosting, some different web hosting packages are not really designed for larger files like videos or audios or archives. Then you might be hitting those limitations in your WordPress media library. And also, it's not really designed for larger files. It's designed for images, but these days images can also be quite big. So you've got the size restriction, and we're going to take that away in a moment. You've also got the speed and the performance. So first of all, when you have something like a video or an audio, every time somebody consumes or views an image or consumes a piece of content on your website, they're actually downloading that resource. So when you have multiple people all over the world consuming that resource on your website, it can put quite a heavy load on your website, and also, of course, it's going to affect your bandwidth. Any file that you drag into your media library, it doesn't go to the back end, even if you're logged into WordPress admin. That goes to a media directory or an uploads directory on the front end of your website, which simply means everybody can access that file. So whether they're in India, in Africa, in South America, in Europe, USA, wherever they are, everybody can get access to all those files. If your website gets hacked and you've got any valuable assets in your media library, then they can be gone. They are vulnerable to be gone. So you want to be able to secure some of your files, and we're not really able to do that effectively inside of the WordPress media library. And for those of us that have more than one website, it's quite common to have a particular file. Maybe it's an image, a business logo, or it might even be a downloadable resource, a white paper or something that you have on more than one different website. So if you have that kind of a setup with the media library and you're hosting your assets there, then it's going to be a nightmare if you need to make any kind of changes. You've got that at multiple different sites. It would be much better if we could have one place for those shared digital assets, and then you can update it or change it there, and automatically, like through a cloud, it'll take care of be updated wherever that resource is embedded. And of course, with organization, if you have a lot of assets, a lot of images, videos, and maybe even audios in your media library, there's no sort of organizational structure. So the more as your site grows and the more things you put into your media library, it gets harder and harder to find those different assets that you've got in there. Now, we'll take a quick look at S3 buckets, and we're going to come back to our WordPress admin and we're going to clean up this mess, and I'm going to show you an option where you can take care of everything that we've talked about and fix all those problems in one simple step. Now, when it comes to S3 buckets, just quickly, they're great. I mean, the scalability is great. The resource is great. They load fast. That you can make them available all over the world. You've got a lot of options available to you. And the pricing is good, but it is very complex. And also, if you have, let's say, an image in one of your buckets and you just say, I want to just put that image on my website, you know, that can be quite a process to do it. Or maybe you have some digital download products and you want to keep those in your S3 buckets and you want to make those available in the members area. It's a great idea, but with Amazon Ors, it can be quite a process with their policies. You've got to set up the right policies for the right digital assets, and you've got to set the right publishing settings, and then you've got to go and find your public URL. So what if we could automate all of that process? Take away all the complications. We don't have to be programmers. We don't have to be nerds. We just want a place where we keep our assets and we want to make them public when we want to have them public and we want to get things organized. Wouldn't it be great if we could bring together our S3 bucket with our WordPress media library and organize them in such a way that you can just point and click, drag and drop and structure everything together to make your life so much easier? Well, now you can, and I'm going to be introducing you to WP buckets. So let's go to my computer screen and I'm just going to pop these on. Let's pop that on there. Make sure you've got good sound, and I'm going to walk through this inside of my WordPress admin. So here we are back inside of WordPress admin. Under the media library, I've got no items. Now you're going to see in a moment why there's nothing here. But if we look under the media here, we've got another menu called WP buckets. Let's give it a click. And what have we got here? We have S3 buckets that are customized for my WordPress admin. So what you see here, we've got videos, audios, and images on the top row. These are actually buckets that I've created, and you can create these buckets. I think they look a little bit nicer than just the bucket name. You can even customize the color. So if you've got an audio color, you want it to be green, you can make that green, and you can change the logos, and you can have any bucket. So if you have different projects, you have different projects. Now we'll have a look inside of one of these in a moment, but by using the WP buckets instead of the media library, I can now add any size file here to my buckets, and I can play those files on my website. If I have images that may be a little bit larger and I don't want to put them in my media library, I can put them here. They're going to load faster than they would load on your media from your media library. If I have audios, maybe MP3s, I can pop them in the audio file. And this is how I've organized this. You could organize this however you want, and you can have unlimited number of buckets, and each bucket can have unlimited number of folders and subfolders. So you can basically activate your own organizational system for your own media files using WP buckets. Now, the most important thing about this is all the limitations I had under the media library are now gone. I can add any size file here and it doesn't affect my web hosting. So there's no upload limits, there's no hosting limits, there's no server limitations. That file, when I drag and drop it in here or into one of my buckets, it's going to be going directly from my browser to my S3 bucket of choice, and so space is no restriction. Not only does the WP buckets make it super easy for you, but it makes it easy to organize everything and even lets you be a little bit creative. So as you can see here with these icons, these are actually buckets. So I've got a folder here selected, but if I deselect that, you can see it's just a bucket, but I can choose what I want that bucket to look like. I can even turn it into a shark. Let's turn it into a black shark. There we go. That's going to be my PDF reports. For instance, here we have a private bucket. I can put the lock there, and let's choose a red color to remind us this is a secure private bucket. And here you can see the bucket name. If you want something more friendly on the eyes, you can put your own display name here. So let's go secure bucket as an example, or secure files, and you can see that takes effect without changing that bucket on your actual Amazon S3. With the media library, we're not able to make any files private. With the WP buckets, when you actually hook up a bucket here, by default that bucket is going to be private, and instead of going into S3 and going through the time-consuming complex process of making a bucket public, we've got one single switch here that takes care of everything. It does it all automatically under the hood. It creates the policies, updates it on your S3 bucket so that you can basically click once, it's converted this bucket into a public bucket. And if you go, hey, I don't want anybody to have access to these files in this bucket, it's one click. Now that bucket is private. If we jump inside one of these buckets, then we've got the option to create folders. So you can create folders and nested folders. We just go here and we click add folder. We give it a folder name, and once again we've got these nice customization options. Maybe you've got a project, and in that project bucket you can have images, videos, audios. Well, you can come in here and create folders for those, and if you have a lot of folders, well, you can go in nested folders and you can add unlimited depth nested folders. When it comes to uploading files, you're gonna love some of the new features you get automatically right out of the box with WP buckets. You can basically drag and drop, there we go, individual files, but you can also drag structured folders. So if you have folders with nested folders, you don't have to come in here and manually create those folders. We can just go ahead and drag that entire folder into WP buckets, and it'll actually recreate that same structure on your S3 buckets, and you can see it loading up here. It's doing it extremely fast. So now we maintain that same bucket structure without any manual involvement. So everything is super easy and super automatic. So right now, for an extremely limited time, I've got a few of these available that I'm doing now as an early bird, getting it out there, get some other people using it. I hope you're going to love this tool as well. It really blows away all those limitations from the WP media library, and at the same time it makes your S3 super easy so that you can manage your buckets in a nice and simple, convenient way with some nice little creativity customization options with those different colors and nested folders and even logos to go with those folders, or icons maybe you want to be calling them. So hey, it is Matthew McDonald here. Go and download it. Below me there will be a button to get the early bird deal if it's still on. You'll also get a no questions asked 30-day money back guarantee. If you download this and you don't like it for whatever reason, then of course you can get your money back. But I think you're going to be loving this tool. Also, I have extra videos in the members area where I walk you through step by step exactly how I'm using this tool and how to create your buckets and link it up nicely. WP Buckets, it is a WordPress plugin, so installing it is a simple process just like installing any other WordPress plugin. But if for some reason you get stuck along the way or in the process, we've got a full support team which will help you. I've also got a bunch of videos in the members area which walk you through each step of the process. We've also got a really nice PDF step-by-step user guide that you'll be getting access to as part of this package. So hey, it is Matthew McDonald here. Thanks for joining me on this video, and this is what I've got available for you. It can make your life much easier with the WordPress admin and with your media files. If you want to pick it up, right now is the best time to do it, and you'll get that no-brainer killer deal below me. I will be on the other side in the next video waiting for you, and we'll get you access right away.